Nicole, and welcome to this episode of the Nicole Stitches podcast. I am a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter coming to you from Northern Virginia, where I work and live with my husband, our cat Webster, and our kitten Birdie. You can keep up with me on Instagram at NicoleSPDesigns, on Ravelry as she writes things, on Pinterest at NSP Designs, and in my shop, nspdesigns.com, where I make and sell handmade project bags, notions pouches, and other fiber accessories, as well as original crochet patterns. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast, and you can go there to find a Get to Know Us thread where you can introduce yourself and get to know other members of the group, a Q&A thread where you can leave me questions that I'll answer in a future video, and it's where you'll find the monthly pattern giveaway where you can enter to win a pattern of your choice that was featured on the podcast in the preceding month. If you are new, hi, welcome, and if you're a return viewer, welcome back. I did miss last week. No real reason. I just ended up taking the week off. I've been feeling really mentally worn out by the end of the workday. It's just that time of year for me personally at work and what I do. And last week I just decided to give myself a breather, take the week off, have a little break, and come back to you this week. I also did not have a ton of progress on things last week, so it felt like if I was going to take a break, that was probably a good time to do it, just because there wasn't a lot to show off at that point. But again, I am back, and I have, things are different. I have orangey pink hair now. This is something that I have been actually thinking about doing for a really, really long time, like years honestly, but I just never really did it. I didn't want to put in the time and the money to get it done professionally at a salon because I didn't know if I'd like it. And I generally just like my hair being blonde, and I didn't know if I would like it enough having crazy colors in it. Well, first of all, I worked in an office when I initially wanted to make my hair a fun color. I worked in an office with a dress code and I couldn't do it. And then our dress code was relaxed and I technically could do it, but I didn't want to invest the time and money if I wasn't sure that I would like it. And then I got engaged and I wanted my hair to be blonde for the wedding. And my intent had kind of been after the wedding that I would finally do it and commit. And because we got back from the wedding and we moved and it was the holidays, I was just about getting ready to make the appointment, and then the pandemic, it pandemicked, so I couldn't make my hair appointment, which is why my hair is longer and a little stragglier than normal. I have so many split ends, it's a lot. I've been having to trim my own bangs, and so I decided to just do it at home in the least committal way possible, which was with Overtone, which is actually it's a conditioner. It's like a deep hair conditioner, like a hair mask that deposits color. So my hair actually is not even dyed. It is just a conditioner that you put on your hair, and it makes your hair feel really nice and really shiny, so that's cool. There's the kind that comes in the tub, which is what you do to initially put the color on, and then there's a bottle that you get that is how you maintain it over time. So I have been waiting for these particular colors to be back in stock. They've been really sold out lately because pandemic and people are making hair decisions. And so the colors that I wanted finally came in stock, so I grabbed them, and on Sunday I did it. So if you're curious, I used rose gold in the tub, and then they were out of the daily conditioner bottle of rose gold when I ordered, so I got pastel orange, because in the swatches that they show you online of what it looks like on different hair, the one that had roughly my shade of blonde, the pastel orange swatch kind of looked similar to what rose gold did, so I figured, and I kind of wanted to add an orangier wash to their rose gold color anyway, so it just worked out. And this is what I have. It is a little bit faded, and it is a little bit lighter than I first envisioned. I actually was able to order a more extreme pink color, so that's gonna be in the mail eventually. But this is what we have now, and I really, really like it. I am glad I did it this way because it was entirely possible I would not like it. And it was really easy for me to do at home. I just put it in my hair, I hung out for 20 minutes, and then I rinsed it out, and my hair feels nice and soft, and it's this fun color. And if I just wash it out for my next few showers and I never put the conditioner in, it'll just go back to my normal hair. No harm, no foul. So I have pinkish orange hair now, and I'm probably gonna have pink hair for a little while because my brighter pink is coming, and I'm definitely gonna play with that. And I'm really enjoying it, plus the benefit of it being really good for my hair, you know, that doesn't hurt either. So that's the deal. I took a week off just for my own, it was a little mental health break, I guess, you know, a chill week, and I have pink hair now, and we're gonna get started. So I do have progress on many things to show you, and I will start with this one. This is the Cozy no, it's not. It's the Ripple Crop Top by Jessie Maed. I almost had the Cozy Classic because I just made that one, which is also by Jessie Maed, the Cozy Classic raglan. But this is the Ripple Crop Top, and when I showed you this, I am in the middle of a row. I always do this to myself. Okay, I'm in the middle of a row, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. So, when I last showed you, I had just a little bit done. Here, you can see this is where I left off. I had that much done. And now I have done the majority of the body. This is a bottom-up pattern, and this is the fingering weight version. There is also a Ripple Crop Top worsted pattern, which uses worsted weight yarn. I have worked my way up the majority of the body. I have done the fronts, which you can see here. There's the V-neck, and here's the fronts, and then I am working on the back here. So those are the armholes, and here we go. So I am knitting this in KnitPicks Comfy Fingering in the color Celestial, which is this fun blue color. They are like weed whacking and mowing the lawn and leaf blowing all at once, it sounds like outside. I hope it's not too loud and disruptive on the audio, but I can't help it, so I'm very sorry, but them's the breaks. But this is my Ripple Crop Top. I have clearly gotten quite a bit done since you last saw it. I am really enjoying this. The theme recently for me in working on my projects has been ease. I have really gravitated toward my two projects that are the easiest in terms of what I actually have to do. I'm really looking to just be knitting along, not have to follow a chart, not have to follow a lot of pattern instructions. I can just kind of go back and forth. I've been spending time out on our balcony when it's been nice outside. We've kind of had a cycle of like 2 really nice sunny days and then 5 gray days. Not my fave. But on the nice days, I've been sitting outside on our balcony with an audiobook and my knitting and just knitting away. And the projects that I've mainly focused on for this have been these two in particular, which are both really just simple. I mean, the Ripple Crop Top is technically a ribbed fabric, so I'm knitting and purling back and forth, but you know, it's very nice and mindless, and I can just tune out to what I'm doing. I can listen to my audiobook, or I can watch TV or a movie if that's what I'm doing, and it's been really great. And this other project is another one that has been a lot of very intuitive, easy, meditative knitting, and that is the Leventry by Sarah Jordan. And here is my progress. This is where I left off last time I showed you. This stitch marker I am obsessed with. Fennel and Fiber, whom I love. You can find her on Instagram, YouTube, and Etsy. I will link the shop below, but you know I love tiny scissors, so when I saw this progress keeper come up in her shop, I was like, that's an instant buy. I'm not missing out on this. I'm grabbing it immediately, and I'm really happy. And here's my progress. So again, I've done quite a bit, and that is largely because it is just so easy. You know, it's very simple stockinette with a garter bump, and I'm loving it. I am knitting this in Plank and Stella 4-ply sock, which is a fingering weight yarn in the colors Vintage Lingerie, which is the main color here, this soft pink that's got, you can see some splashes of like almost like a wine color in some spots, but some splashes of like a darker pink. And then these ridges are in the color Love on Top. I am really, really enjoying this. The Leventry is a shawl that I've wanted to make for a really long time. It was on my Make 9 for 2019 and it didn't happen, but I've always loved how it was nice and simple. It had stripes. I love stripes. And it will eventually have a lace border on the edge, but a very simple lace border that's just very pretty. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, like right now, all I have to do is knit these rows of, you know, pink, 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 and then a stripe. And that has been really nice. It's my other project that I'm reaching for when I'm watching something or I'm listening to an audiobook and I just want to kind of keep my hands busy, because I can't just sit there and watch something or listen to something and not have something in my, like, not be doing something with my hands. I feel jittery if I don't have something to do with my hands. So those two projects have really gotten a lot of my focus since the last time I showed you, because they're just, it's so nice and enjoyable to have a project that I can just, I don't have to pay attention to anything. I don't really have to manage yarn. I can just knit to my heart's content. And I can also drop it when I need to and come back to it, and that's really nice as well. My third knitting project, it's got a bit less progress on it, but I am still getting places. This is the Belle Isle cardigan by Nadia Cretin-Lechenne. And you can see here is where I left off last we spoke, and this is where I am. So not quite as much progress, but that's okay. And this is in KnitPicks Mighty Stitch, which is a worsted weight. Well, this is a KnitPicks Mighty Stitch worsted. They have other weights. I think they have a bulky and a super bulky, but this is the worsted in the colorway silver. It is a cardigan, and it will eventually have a really cute little shawl collar on it. So here's the progress. Working this really simple cable on the front. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but it's just not quite as straightforward as the other projects I have on the needles. So I have been kind of ignoring it just a little bit. But this gift is for my friends who are expecting their baby very soon. So I gotta get this in the mail, because, I mean, it's gonna be too big for the newborn to wear, but like, I'd like them to have it. You know, baby's gonna be here soon. And the last project that I have to share with you is a cross stitch that I am making for my niece. And this is the Mario level birth record by NERDpillo on Etsy. And I have notable progress. I have moved my hoop. You're not gonna be able to see, but last time I recorded, I was working on this cloud up here, just filling it in. And now Mario is here. So we're finally getting to cool places on this. So this again is the box that's gonna have all of her birth details. It's gonna have my niece's name and her time and date of birth and her weight and stuff. So I've just been, if I already have black on my needle, like because it outlines everything here, then I will come in and do a few stitches on this box until I run out, because you know, just stitching in a black outline is a little bit boring, especially after having to do these big blocks of color. But if I've outlined something and I already have the black floss threaded, then I will just stitch on this until it's done, and eventually I will have it finished and be able to fill in her name. But you can see here, this is a question box. In the game, there's a question mark on the box and it rolls from side to side, which is why it looks like that. And then Mario is right here. So I am just filling him in, his skin and hands. And I'm really excited to finally be like filling out the little fun design elements of this pattern. It was a little slow going when all I could do was stitch for a bajillion rows of light blue on blue or beige. So being able to actually put in Mario is fun, and there's gonna be pipes, and there might be a bullet bill. I can't remember, I'd have to look at the pattern, but there's gonna be pipes and bushes and a Goomba, and I'm just really excited. I'm excited. So that is that. I like to stitch on this. If I stitch for a really long time, like a period of a number of hours, without stopping, especially on my Ripple crop top, because that is a cotton yarn. It's like I think it's an 80-20 Pima cotton and acrylic blend. My hands will hurt. So I like to keep the cross stitch nearby so that when I notice that my hands are starting to hurt, I can still be doing something with my hands, but I am giving them a break and using them differently and moving my different muscles in a different way in my hands. So that really helps it a lot. And it helps me feel like I'm not so jittery when I'm sitting still watching or listening to something. And those are all my projects for the week. I don't have shop news for you. I had an update. Last time I recorded, I think I showed you the most recent addition to the shop, which was my tiny scissors fabric. I do still have some things left in that print. Y'all cleared me out of the medium-sized project bags in that almost immediately, which I am so thankful for. It was really exciting for me to see that people liked it as much as I did. But I do still have 2 large bags, and I do still have some project pouches, which are my my Notions pouch size in the shop. They're this size. They're really great. They do fit crochet hooks, and they can fit your like your interchangeable needles and scissors and stuff. I don't really have a new in my queue for you. I know it's been a couple weeks since my last episode, and I don't remember if I had a new in my queue that time, but I don't this week. I have actually spent a lot of time on Ravelry in the last few days, but not looking at new releases. What I decided to do was something else that I wanted to do for a really, really long time, and I had never done. I procrastinated it and put it off, and now I have finally done it, is I spent several days, realistically, cataloging and photographing and updating my entire yarn stash so that it is all in Ravelry. My yarn lives in this closet most of the time. There's a closet right here, and it lives in this closet in bins. Several bins when I am not using it. If you don't use Ravelry much, or you don't use the stash feature much, there's actually a lot of advantages to entering your stash in Ravelry. The main one being that it's really easy if you do that to, if you're looking at a pattern, say like a sweater, and you're trying to figure out how many yards of yarn you need, and you think, well, I have yarn that might work in my stash, but I don't remember if I have enough yards. You can literally just pull up your stash right there in Ravelry and see how many yards you have. You don't have to go like find where you're actually storing your yarn if you like keep it somewhere that's like not easy to access, or you keep it in bins, or it's in a cabinet behind a bunch of other stuff, because you know, I know how life is. A lot of my yarn is in this closet, but it is not easily accessible. In that same vein, Ravelry will actually make yarn suggestions for you of suitable yarns that you that will work for a pattern you're looking at if you have it listed in your stash. So you can look at a Ravelry pattern page and see, you know, the suggested yarn weight and yardage and stuff, and Ravelry will give you a yarn suggestion in your stash, like right there as part of the information on the page. It will recognize that you have this or that yarn listed, and you have this many yards, and it's the correct weight and stuff. It's also really helpful. I do this a lot, especially when I'm buying yarn online. It's helpful to see what yarn looks like when other people have bought it under different kinds of light, so you can get a really good idea of what the yarn might actually look like in person. So sometimes like your computer monitor or your phone screen resolution of colors is a little bit off from real life, and so you could buy yarn, get it in person, it looks totally different. So the advantage of searching for yarn on Ravelry that is in people's stash is that is in stashes already, is that you can see what actual physical skeins of that yarn look like. And in the lighting of different people's homes, people put them on a white background or a wood background or a black background, and they have daylight or studio light or just their phone light, and it's just really helpful to get a good idea of what that looks like. If I'm shopping, like I've done this with KnitPicks a number of times, usually when I buy my yarn from KnitPicks, it does show up basically the same color that I saw on screen, so it's not really an issue. But I have had it happen a couple times where I picked a color on KnitPicks that I thought looked one way, and it arrived and it was totally different. So I will use it for that. It's helpful. I also use the Ravelry stash feature to sell yarn that you don't want anymore. You can just mark it as being available for people to either buy from you or to trade, and like they could send you yarn or whatever in return. And you can actually go on Ravelry and like search for a yarn that you want to buy in a particular colorway, maybe like a dyer doesn't dye it anymore or something like that. And there are people who will sell it to you, and you can find them listed through Ravelry. This is just a really helpful feature that I've always wanted to take more advantage of, and I have just never been consistent in entering my yarn acquisitions into Ravelry. And it's always bugged me, and so this weekend I decided to do it. So I hauled out all of the yarn that I had in this closet in my bins, and I systematically went through one by one. I had a notebook that I kept in my lap, and I wrote down the name of the yarn company or dyer, the colorway, and then how many skeins I had, and if I had like an unknown number of skeins, like a bunch of cakes or something, I weighed it on my kitchen scale and I wrote down the grams, and then I took a picture of every single one, and then I went into Ravelry and I updated my whole stash. So now almost my entire stash is in there. The only problem is that for some reason my phone did not save a photo of every single skein of yarn, which is infuriating. Because now if I look at my Ravelry stash page, I have this beautiful grid of all these photographs of like all these photos of skeins of yarn on one consistent background, and it looks so nice, but there are these random patches of like yarns that I don't have a photo for because my phone didn't save them, and it drives me up the wall. I'm not compulsive about everything, but I am compulsive about that. So I have a little sticky note on my side table of the yarn that I need to go back and take a picture of again. But that was a really it sounds so nerdy, but it was a very fun activity to like catalog all my yarn and enter it and everything. It was very satisfying. And now I know that anytime I'm like cruising Ravelry for new patterns and stuff, and I'm curious if I have enough yarn or what yarn I actually have, I can just pull it up right there. I don't have to come and dig in this closet and make a big mess and spend an hour pulling things out and putting it back. Not anymore. And that's what I do with my time. So that's really where I've been spending my Ravelry time lately, is on my stash page, making sure that everything is correct and things are properly listed and the photograph is there and I know how many grams. So I haven't really spent a lot of time looking at new pattern releases. There are some really fun ones. I know Tina Say Knits has recently released a shawl pattern. She collaborated with, I think, Traveling Yarn to make it, and it was beautiful. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was something like Traveling Shawl. That can't be what it was called. But I know that there's some fun stuff that has come out recently. Emily Green Knits released a little collection of knitwear that's all beautiful. I just don't have like a curated new in my queue for you this week. I'm very sorry. Hopefully next week. But that's going to be my episode. So this might be a little bit shorter than I would usually provide after a week of not being here, but like I said, I just took a week off, and a lot of my knitting progress is substantial but simple. And I've spent a lot of time working on my stash and on my Animal Crossing house. So that's my episode. Thank you so much for sticking around with me even though I didn't post last week. Thank you for your patience. All was well, just took a little break. I hope you're taking care of yourselves and you and your loved ones are staying safe and well, and if you're not, please know that you are in my thoughts, and I'm sending all of my good energy and all my love your way. Stay inside, you know, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. All that good stuff. Know that we are all doing this together. It is one big act of kindness that we are doing for each other. It is kindness. It is not tyranny. It is kindness and caring and being a responsible adult human. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I hope you have a great week. Get lots of crafting done. Wash your hands, and I will see you next time. Bye.